Howdy, folks. Welcome to this week's episode of the Earth to Marissa podcast. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, okay. This week, we're going to be talking about a lot of topics. Okay, so basically, this episode is going to dive into acceptance. It's going to dive into some wisdom that the spirits of psilocybin brought me in a little microdose session that I had recently. And it's going to dive into just some downloads that were received from that and just the inner gremlins that we have within and how to go about showing them fully in relationships and what that means and what happens when you try to hide those inner gremlins. So this week, the trust symbol came through, and I love this symbol. And when I asked if there was going to be a crystal paired, the trust symbol was like, nah, fam. Like, just us. Just us. No crystal needed. And we were like, okay. So this symbol really comes in, and when I asked it to merge with my being this morning, I felt it activating and igniting the areas in my life in which the trust energy is needed. And it comes in to these areas and fully just kind of holds them, igniting the trust that is present for us, igniting the trust that really allows us to kind of sink in and be our most charismatic and passion-filled, joy-filled person, knowing that what we desire, if I desire something, then it's going to come forward. If I put myself in a situation, I'm gonna be okay. Holding that knowing, trusting, holding the faith, then allows me to just be myself and go about exactly as I need to. And so this is a really powerful symbol to come in. I always visualize the symbol in my mind's eye. I kind of draw it out, and then I really do. I feel it come in, and it feels like just a friend's support is kind of what it feels like. A friendly support that ignites the trust within you while also igniting the trust in those areas of your life. So definitely beautiful. Stay tuned with how it flows into the messages that we talk about this week. And the affirmation that we're working with this week is, may my authenticity be seen in all moments. May my authenticity be seen in all moments. And when I say this, it's being seen by myself and by the other. Because when we see it in ourselves first, then we know, right, that others will be able to see it too. And so it's questioning, how would my authentic version of myself act, respond, move forward in this moment? What is the authenticity here when maybe another emotion arises? Or we find ourselves getting frustrated or anger? What's the authenticity in that moment? And how can we act from that place? Speaking our truth, sharing our truth, and coming back to self. And then the self-care that we are doing this week is sitting with and talking to my pussy, okay? You can do this too. How can we build this relationship with our womb space, with our vagina, yoni, pussy, whatever you want to call it? Let's talk to it. Develop this beautiful relationship, this beautiful trust connection. And yeah, just like the more I can talk to her, be gratitude for the ability to literally create life. So showing gratitude, my thankfulness, showing her that she is safe, she is held, she is loved, and she is seen. Yeah, just really trying to foster a relationship with my yoni. So, I would love to hear what affirmations you're working with, what self-care you're doing in the comments. You can comment on YouTube and Spotify. Let me know. And before we dive into the topic, let's go ahead and chat about some housekeeping. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out the November energy update. Some great themes. There were 4 themes this month, and they were all really beautiful. Authenticity definitely came through in that, which I find super resonant and synchronistic. And peace. How can you cultivate peace in your life in November? And then go check out, just the rest of the themes. It was definitely a very powerful message, along with this week's paired video, which is, I'm going to be diving into, I already did it. I dove into the Akashic Records and asked what we could learn or know about ascension symptoms right now, or just ascension in general. How do we move forward? What's best for us to know about ascension right now? And how can we ease into our future selves? What are the weird dreams about? And then from the collective of that video, I always tap into the collective of who's watching the video. And I felt this giant question of like, how can I feel normal again? And I was like, wow, that definitely. And the Akashic Records ended up actually saying, like, I think the word here, not normal, because like what you're experiencing is technically normal. It's more so, how can I feel comfortable through the change that is occurring? So we talk about that, and that video was like super powerful, like full on. That channel was very, very strong. So definitely go check that out on Wednesday when it drops. And stay tuned for some super fun guests. We're going to be having some guests here in the next few episodes. So definitely stay tuned for that. And the holidays are here. It's November, Thanksgiving, other holidays that people are celebrating. It's the time of year of joy and family and friends, but also it can be a very stressful time for people. So I put together a guide on how to breathe through the holidays. This is going to be dropping very soon. Stay tuned on my probably social media. I'll make a video for it too, most likely. So you'll definitely see when it drops. But this is where I walk through 5 lifelines, acceptance actually being one of them, that have helped me through the holidays and family interactions, or being around people that you really just, if you had the choice, you would never put yourself around. However, during the holidays, you just find yourself around these individuals. And then grief too. I have had multiple family deaths that have happened around Christmas specifically. So a lot of grief can come up at this time, or even, if you have someone pass, this is a time of family and they're no longer there. So we dive into that too. It's just a great course. It's a video explaining everything, and then a guidebook that has all of the information that the video explained, and then some journal prompts and a beautiful meditation that you can do before and after you attend family functions, friend functions, events. It's just a grounding and recentering meditation that helps you to kind of practice your energetic maintenance. So, a guide on how to center and breathe through the holidays coming soon to you. And I'm going to breathe right now. I feel like, I'm out of breath. I just dove in and I forgot to breathe. It happens. So, if you're with me, if you're here, let's go ahead and just breathe. Let's take some deep breaths. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And do 2 more on your own time. Using our breath to center. Using our breath to ground into this beautiful present moment. Whew. Okay. Shoo-wee, I drank some some green tea this morning. If you know me personally, you know that I do not partake in caffeine usually. However, I have been playing around with it recently just because, I think it can be extremely detrimental if you fully cut one thing out of your life. Now, if it's something that like really is no bueno for you, like is really bad for you personally, like cut it out of your life, okay. However, green tea, I don't think that's too terribly bad for me, I think in the past, and I've talked about this before, I think in episode 1, like I had become so rigid about what I could and could not put in my body, and I found that was just really detrimental because, right, like these plant spirits have energies, they have ways of working with us, they have wisdom, they have knowledge, and if I am gatekeeping that wisdom and that knowledge by not, maybe I'm not gatekeeping it, but I'm like just creating this wall from that experience that could be had, that could be expansive. I am just staying in a circle, and so how can I invite these new energies in and play with them, get to know them again? And I used this beautiful plant to just kind of kickstart. I had a lot of shit to get done today, and so I was like, you know what, let's sit with that today. I had a friend that gave me an Ayurvedic blend, like literally forever ago, and I just have not used it because I was like, no caffeine. This has green tea. No. But I'm saying no thank you, and we're gonna try it out again. And it was absolutely delicious, y'all. It had cinnamon in it, it had ginger, it had fennel, which love me some fennel. If you don't cook with fennel, I highly encourage to welcome it into your diet. Not only the vegetable itself, but also fennel seed. Goddamn. Okay. But yeah, so we're feeling good. We're feeling a little jittery, and we're feeling like we need to breathe. And speaking of plant medicines that I have kind of cut out of my life, due to this kind of rigid way of thinking, psilocybin, shroomies, was one of those things. My experience with the medicine, with the spirit, is very, it's not a lot. I have now microdosed twice, and I'm cool with that. It was about 3 years ago probably when I first microdosed. I don't know, very low setting, or a low dose, but it was very enjoyable, and I did do it with intention back then. I can't quite remember what came of it. I remember staring at a puddle for a very long time because I thought it looked really cool. And I also remember having a little point and shoot, what are those cameras called, where you can you wind them up and then you take the one photo, a film, one of the, what is that called? One of the throwaway film cameras. And we took a bunch of pictures, me and my friend that I did it with, and the pictures turned out really cool, not gonna lie. But this time around, I have just been feeling like just welcoming this back in. I was pretty much stone cold sober for about 2 years. And that really did serve me, okay? Like, it really did serve me, and I'm really grateful for that time because I got to know myself at a base level, right? Like, I got to know myself as myself, and I got to see myself just with me and sit in all that I am and get to learn how to love myself in that version. I've definitely abused marijuana and alcohol in the past, and I've never really been into psychedelics, I would say, but marijuana and alcohol definitely were substances that I would play with a lot. And yeah, being sober and just really going on this journey of self-discovery and self-love and independence. And I kind of talked about this, I believe, in the last episode of like, before entering another partnership, sacred union, I really wanted to like get to know that I can do anything on my own. And part of that journey was getting to know that I can be on my own without a substance. And as I have grown into that and come into this development, I have slowly been welcoming things back into my life. You know, I'll have the occasional glass of wine here or there. Alcohol still just like, I never really know how it's going to affect my energy. And I don't know, it just doesn't do much to me, but I do not judge those who partake. And with marijuana, I have just started welcoming it back in with intention, working with it as a plant medicine rather than working with it as a numbing substance, I guess. And there were a lot of fears that came up, like, am I going to abuse it like I once did? Am I going to feel addicted to it? And I just kept having the knowing come forward that like you are in a completely different place. Like you're not even the person you were when you used to do that. And so this relationship gets to be different. And I've been working with it. I've probably smoked maybe 6 or 7 times, starting maybe early this past summer in 2024, having not done it since the beginning of summer 2022. So I've been playing with it, and it goes in flows, it goes in spurts. I can tell when my energy really benefits from the feminine spirit of the marijuana plant. And I can tell when it's not beneficial, and getting to just know that again in my frequency and opening myself up to the knowledge that this plant wisdom has, right? Like marijuana is such a beautiful feminine spirit that creates fluidity, it creates creativity, and it really helped me when I was trying to balance my masculine and feminine energy. Again, in the first couple episodes of the podcast, you probably heard me talk about this balance of the masculine and feminine energies, and so it really helped with me. Or helped me with that. And same with psilocybin. I've been like just having like little hits of like, what if you microdose shrooms? It's like, whoa, where did that come from? What? Who was that just said that, you know? And like when you feel those little soul messages, I try to listen to them because there's something there. There is something there. Like if you feel called to reach out to someone, or you feel called to travel someplace, if you feel called to incorporate a plant medicine into your life, let these spirits talk to you. Let them invite you into these new spaces, because you know what's there? There's wisdom there. There's medicine there, and there's healing. So I did just that, and for my baby's birthday, we did a little microdose. And so, again, the biggest kind of theme, I guess, that the little microdose helped me feel was just this acceptance. This acceptance and this open heart space of where I'm at right now. Coming back into the knowing that, like, I can do anything, and I have always been held. I have always been held. So I did like 0.5 grams, which, again, microdose. He did 1 gram. And if you've never done psilocybin or shroomies, then welcome, I guess. And it really just, for me, it felt like a centering, a focus energy came in. I was very grounded. It definitely was body heavy. Like I just wanted to lay under the trees, which is what we did. And in the sun, basking and watching the yellow leaves just kind of flow and sway. And my intention with this little session was really to create new neural pathways that allow my body and my womb space to know that we can have and experience pleasure without pain. So I focused on that, and I focused on just connecting to myself and connecting to my future self and all that I know I'm available to and all that I know, connecting to just this knowing of all that is possible for me, and then opening my heart to my partner, just in a deeper, more connected way. I wanted to, just use that intention to connect deeper to the love that I have for my partner and the connection that we are continuing to build. And when I first, we were just sitting there, we were at a park, which is lovely, and the trees were swaying and we were bird watching. And if you have ever just laid beneath a yellow or orange tree in the fall time and watched the leaves just rustle, and then when big wind gusts come and all the leaves kind of just like fall and the sky is that beautiful autumn blue, like that was a picturesque moment. That was fucking beautiful. And when I asked what message would you like to share with me, psilocybin spirit, this is what came forward. All movement, spring, fall, winter, and summer, is happening now within you. It's an energy that is tapped into, an energy long forgotten that can be harnessed to shift the weather within and without. It is within your plane of existence and within your world where it is witnessed. And then I got spring is to create, summer is to cultivate, fall is to gather, and winter is to rest. And I kind of got a little bit distracted after, I wouldn't say distracted, just pulled in a different way after receiving that beautiful message. And I tried to go back in, but it seemed like that is there for me to unlock on its own. And also I heard that in my next microdose experience, whenever that may be, more information will come through on this specific topic. But I really did love that, and what I did kind of gather from that was, yes, the outside seasons might be happening, however, we are able to experience all within us. Just how, in a way, in astrology, like we have all of the zodiac signs within us. This is kind of a similar thing. Like we can call upon and access any of these energies, creation, cultivation, rest, or gathering, at any point in the year, and we can change our own energy into that of summer, winter, fall, spring, which was really interesting. And it's kind of this feeling of being able to shapeshift within, which then shapeshifts what is outside of us. So yeah, more information to come on that. And then after I received that, the insects, y'all, I was sitting there and I heard like the insects and the crickets just like started buzzing. And it was so loud, and I joked because my partner has like incredible hearing, like he is incredibly clairaudient, and I was like, babe, I feel like I'm hearing through your ears for the first time, because like every single sound I could hear it, like the insects buzzing and the individual insect sounds, and then the individual bird sounds all echoing, plus the wind rustling through the leaves, plus like the crunch beneath our feet. Like everything was just kind of happening at once, and it was really cool to tune in to that clairaudience in a way that I haven't experienced before, which was really lovely. And I got this energy of second guessing my abilities and my strengths and myself, to kind of move into the next topic. I have been inspired to create a meditation service for my local community where I give meditation and mindfulness workshops around the city, and I'm super excited for this, and I really do know that it is possible for me. However, as I was going to local businesses and just handing out brochures and stuff, I kept getting this like self-doubt that was coming in, and kept getting these like just fears and worries and doubts that were just not creating a good energy or vibration within me. And so I asked the spirit of shroomies, why do I feel so indecisive and second guessing myself, and why am I having these moments of doubting my worth really come up? And the spirit said, you're listening to the whispers around you, to the possibilities that other people are thinking up and dreaming. How does it unfold in your dream though? Awaken, awaken, awaken to your heart, to your magic, to the frequency that flows through you. Feel it. And in that moment, I took a second to just really feel my frequency and my power and my strength and the ability I know I have to help people meditate, to create my existence, to really come in to this knowing that I have always been taken care of. And I had this kind of epiphany of, holy shit, I have always been taken care of through anything that I've done. You know, I went to school for film, college for film, and right out of college, I got a production job that paid $35,000 a year, which was pretty good starting right out of college. I was grateful for that. And even in college, I got an incredible internship where originally they weren't going to pay me for the whole summer, and I was just going to go live in a different city unpaid, which I was kind of freaking out about. But then last minute, they were like, actually, you're going to be the only intern. Usually we have 3, but you seem, more than equipped to help us on your own, and so we're gonna pay you. And that was incredible, right? And then COVID kind of happened, and I switched gears and I moved into horticulture. And the entire time I've been in horticulture, I've been supported. And no matter what transition I wanted to take, I wanted to work at a wholesale greenhouse at first, and that was like a very financially incredible and supportive job. And then I wanted to work on an organic vegetable farm, and that landed like divinely in my lap. And then I was offered another job, which was my last job, and that had just great opportunities. I met my partner, I was financially stable, and it was a lot of learning and lessons, and I realized, okay, I think horticulture, I'm done with that. But it's this pattern of always being supported. And I had a mentor ask me one time, because I was fearful about abundance, and I was showing some just fears of abundance, and she said, Marissa, can I ask, is there a time in your life where you have never not been taken care of financially? And I thought about it, and I was like, holy shit. No, there literally isn't. She was like, yeah, can you think of a time where you didn't have the money for something? Or where you were not financially supported? And I was like, I literally can't. And it's so interesting because these fears can develop. These doubts can develop, but they aren't our own. Oftentimes, it's just we accidentally open the door to an underworld spirit, and now they are creating the story and feeding off of it and perpetuating it within our being. Or we learned it from a parent or a friend or an experience when we were younger. However, in our lives, that very thing that we're afraid of has maybe never happened, has never even happened. And so it was this beautiful moment of just, wow. No matter what direction I go in, I am fully taken care of. I am fully held. And if I want to create a meditation business that goes around and teaches meditation to groups, businesses, schools, and just a one-on-one meditation, then yeah, I can do that. I can do that. And because I put my heart into it, I know that I'm going to be supported no matter what it takes. If I want to live on my own, then I know for a fact that I'm supported, and I know that I can take the actionable steps to get me there. I can take the action, and by taking the action, you are creating that reality, and therefore more things that fit into that reality and match that frequency will start to appear. So that was a really beautiful and powerful message that came through for me. And let's see what else. Yeah. So the second side of this beautiful experience was kind of what my partner was experiencing all day. It was his birthday, and he woke up in a very strange mood. And I love him for this. It just seemed like he was feeling really rushed in the morning. And this was all just kind of on his own. Like, he was feeling really rushed, kind of chaotic, and like stuff just kept happening throughout the day that was either redirecting us or creating fear and worry within him, creating anxiety, frustration. And he was just having like many moments of, I don't want to say mini meltdowns because it wasn't that intense and it wasn't that bad. But he was just having many moments of, just being taken out of his heart space is what it felt like. And through this, I was experiencing and thinking basically the whole time, I'm like, this is for him. This is for him. Like, he's being presented with the energies that he needs to release for this next year. Like, he's being presented with ways that are no longer serving him, But at the end of the day, when he had he accidentally, when he was parking, we were driving my car, but he was driving it. And when he was parking it, he accidentally hit his own car, which made him just kind of freak out. And at that point, I was just like, okay, I'm a little overstimulated. And I was just taking a moment to breathe and ground because I hadn't really done that. This was many hours after the, I would say, kind of climax of the experience. And so, I was just sitting there and I was grounding and I was breathing and I was like, okay, it's okay. It's all going to be okay. And I was saying this to myself. I know you've been frustrated and you've had frustration come up today, but we get to redirect. We get to just go with the flow. We ended up leaving the park just due to a mini moment that he was having. It's just this energy of okay, well, it looks like Spirit wanted us to leave the park right now. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Instead of getting frustrated and instead of being annoyed, which were, I think, the first emotions that definitely came forward, I got to be okay, we're redirecting. Let's accept this. Let's accept what he's moving through. Let's accept him for where he's at. And let's accept that we're going to redirect. However, at this moment that happened hours later, I think I was just feeling very I need my own space. I need to ground. And this is causing extra frustration within me. And so I was taking a moment to breathe and I was okay, this is happening for him, blah, blah, blah. And Spirit was immediately no, Queen, this is happening for you too. Like all of this stuff that has occurred today, this is happening for you. You are learning how to fully breathe through your moments of annoyance and frustration and anger. And the shrooms was helping me to feel what it felt like in my body and how like icky it felt to get so just frustrated about a small thing. And if I can just, when those moments arise, hold acceptance for what's occurring and hold acceptance for where he's at and just be, it completely shifts the vibration. And I want to read this quote. Acceptance is moving through life completely unaffected by the choices of others. I'm going to read it one more time. Acceptance is moving through life completely unaffected by the choices of others. And this was a huge theme throughout the day, because he was choosing to kind of ebb and flow roller coaster ride in his own emotional journey that day. And at some moments I was really good about just going with the flow, accepting. And in other moments I could see where what he was experiencing was fully, I was fully allowing it to affect my own experience. And I'm going to take radical responsibility in that moment and be like, okay, that doesn't have to happen. What someone else's experience does not have to affect my own experience. It can be completely in its own realm. And so can I, ebb and flow with going with the flow, right? Because it was his birthday. I was like, I'm just along for the ride. And I really was met with the opportunity to embody that. Embody that anything can happen, and whatever does happen is great. It's great. And now we're here and we get to move forward, because that experience just happened in the past and I don't got to think about it. I can just keep moving forward and keep redirecting. And it gets to be beautiful when you do that. And after that moment, he was like apologizing. We kind of went upstairs and kind of grounded, and he kept apologizing. He's like, I've been a mess today. Like, it has been crazy. I'm so sorry. Like, I just can't believe all those things happened today and like what I was going through. And I'm sorry you have to see that version of me and like all this stuff. And I had to stop him and be like, stop saying sorry, first of all. Like, thank you. But also, like, those events, the ones that you're saying sorry for, like, happened like 8 hours ago. Like, I'm past that. Like, I don't even need a sorry for that at all. Like, I am just chilling. I've been chilling. Like, no sorries need to happen. Like, this is just how life occurs sometimes, right? Like, it just brings us things and fully like shifts the day, and that's cool. That's fine. I've been riding the waves, right? And he was just, there's been this theme of him feeling like a lot of shame around his, what he calls his like ugly side, his bad side, his reactiveness, his just when he gets flustered, he really shows a lot of shame for that and tries to hide it. And so I felt Spirit was fully talking through me at this point in the day. And what Spirit was saying and what I was telling him was like, no. Like, thank you so much for showing you're ugly. For being all that you are. There's no need to hide it. There's no need to shame it. And I'd much prefer you show your ugly or your wounds or your reactiveness, than try to hide it. Because when you show it and you stand in this moment of allowing it, then you're no longer resisting it, and it can come forward and you can fully feel it and then have the awareness that it's happening. And with awareness comes the ability to release it and to change and make a different choice. And in relationships, it's so easy for us to want to hide our ugly or to put up a facade for this partner because we want to be the perfect person in the relationship. However, the ugly gonna show one way or another, sweetheart. Like, that ugly is gonna come out. And if you've been playing this like perfect facade all along, and let's say you're like a year and a half into your relationship, and you've done a really good job of like keeping that ugly in the box, and then you start to let it out, and you start to really act as, your authentic self, then your partner is like getting surprised and like, where is this coming from? Like, who is this person that I'm dating? And it's because you didn't show those little gremlins at first, right? You didn't let your gremlins shine, if you will. And then your partner's dating this person that they don't even know. Or you may find that you're dating someone that you don't know. Because if we are not authentic at the beginning, at the start, and we try to hide our gremlins, then we're lying and hiding a part of ourselves. And we're lying to ourselves, we're lying to the other, and we aren't able to really sit in this energy of acceptance and loving all that we are. And I told him, I kept saying, I was like, you do not need to say sorry to me, you need to say sorry to yourself. And that's what Spirit kept saying. I was like, I don't really know what that means, but I keep hearing it, like, say sorry to yourself. And what came through was like, say sorry to the little boy that was enjoying himself and got pulled away from this beautiful experience because you started worrying or becoming fearful or freaking out about this one thing. And like, he almost broke down in that moment because it was just true. And then say sorry to yourself too when you try to hide the parts of you that are frustrated or that are, moving at a different place of where they aren't grounded, like, show love for those parts of you and like accept yourself as the whole. Like, you are all of it. Because he kept saying, like, I just want you to know that I'm not that person, I'm not that person, I'm not that being. And I'm like, okay, honey, but you are. And that's okay. That's okay if you're the angry person sometimes. If you're the reactive person sometimes. If you're the anxious person sometimes. If you're the joyful person sometimes. It's okay. It's okay because we are all of that. And this is coming full circle kind of with the download about the seasons. We are all energies combined. To have white light, you need all the colors of the rainbow. All spectrums. And we are all of that. And so let's not resist those parts of ourselves when they come forward. Let's hold them with love. And in that holding of love, may they transmute. May that awareness come forward. May that love come forward. Like, hold the gremlins. Hold your inner gremlins. And accept them for what they are. Because what you resist persists. And I got to tell him in that moment too, I was like, all of these versions of you came forward today, and I still love you. Like, I still love you fully after seeing all of those versions. And that's when he really kind of broke down, which was just very heartwarming and very sweet. And it just, reminded me that when we step into a relationship fully as ourselves, as our full selves, we are then giving and creating the opportunity to be fully loved unconditionally by someone else and ourselves. Just go sit with that frequency right there that I feel in my heart space. Tap in and feel it too if you want. And how beautiful too, doesn't that foster such a deep connection with someone when you have seen their full colors and you have seen their full spectrum and you still love them so much? That is when you know you're with someone that is divinely for you at that time. And if you don't love their full colors, well then, I invite you to ask, where can you love your colors even more? And also, maybe that's not your person, but that's okay. And because we showed up as our true selves, as our full selves, we can now know that. But if we were to hide ourselves or parts of ourselves, and if they were to hide parts of themselves, you maybe would not have discovered that as quickly. So it's just so important to embrace our gremlins, embrace our authenticity, and be real with one another. Be fully transparent and honest. And I'm proud of myself too. When I was talking to him about all of this, I was fully honest and present with how some of those moments throughout the day affected me and what initially came forward in my mind when it happened. But I told him, I was like, I share this because I want to be real with you on what actually was occurring within me and my headspace. However, I'm not saying it because I'm angry or I'm upset. I have fully moved on from that point. I say it just so you know, when you have the transparency there. But also, like I said, that happened 8 hours ago. I don't care about that. I'm not going to hold on to that. No, I'm here now. I am here now, and I am continuing to move forward into the next now moment, right? Whatever comes up, I'm just let's just redirect. Let's redirect and accept. Redirect and accept. Redirect and accept. And that's probably going to be the name of this video, of this podcast. So how can you redirect and accept? Show your inner gremlin. Love on your gremlins, okay? They are your pets. Accept them into the wholeness of you. And drop into a state of unconditional love for yourself and the other. And there's one more little beautiful moment that happened during this beautiful day where we were sitting and I was just kind of playing with the leaves that had recently fallen leaves on the ground and kind of making art with them. I had this moment of holding this brown leaf that has fallen off the tree, and I was like, people think these leaves are dead, but they definitely aren't. This is vibrating with life, and I could feel it, right? I could feel the life emanating still from this leaf, and even from the crunchy ones. These are full of life, and people think they're dead leaves, but no. And he was he just started giggling kind of, and then he brought forward, these trees are shedding their leaves, but their leaves are continuing to feed the earth around it and to feed, because his science brain was like, I bet each leaf as it decomposes releases certain minerals, and it would be interesting to go around the forest and the soil to see how it differs under each tree due to the leaves that have fallen in the area. And I'm like, yes, King, I love you. Talk science to me. And in my mind, that immediately went to oh my God, the tree is feeding itself. Oh my God, the tree is not dying. It's just transitioning. And in that transition, it literally feeds the soil and the mycelial network under it, which then feeds itself for the next year. What an incredible and beautiful cycle. And then he kind of mentioned how this shedding is life itself. And may this wisdom drop into your life where death leads to life. All death, which really is just transition, all transition leads to life. It creates and is reborn into beautiful energy. And that was just a kind of moment for us. That was beautiful to understand and to come into and just see as we're sitting underneath these beautiful trees. So that was that. It was a beautiful experience. I hope you enjoyed the little downloads that were received for me and my partner during that time. We're going to have to get him on here sometime soon. But yeah, definitely, if you haven't tried microdosing, I highly recommend it. I definitely, a lot was energetically moved during that experience, and I'm really grateful for plant medicine. There is a lot that it can teach us, and, we don't have to have these crazy psychedelic experiences to receive wisdom from and to work with these beautiful spirits. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful start to your week. Happy Sunday if you're listening to it when it releases. And remember, acceptance is moving through life, completely unaffected by the choices of others. So take that with you this week. Take care of yourself. Drink lots of water. Check out the November update if you haven't, to see how you can start fresh in this new beautiful month. And yeah, if you want to work one-on-one with me, you can go to my website. But until the next podcast, have a beautiful, beautiful week. Much love. Bye for now.